What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Peso Pluma's fourth album, Éxodo. Peso Pluma, you know him at this point, Mexican superstar, musical superstar. Iconic mullet haircut aside, Peso Pluma has become one of the largest artists in the world, full stop. And beyond that, clearly a huge trailblazer, a huge standard bearer for Mexican music on the global stage. This has been true for a while. This has really been kind of a runaway train since like late 2022. I reviewed Peso's last album, Genesis, about a year ago, and by the time that album had come out, Peso Pluma's kind of dominance and consistency on the Billboard Hot 100 chart as a Mexican man making Spanish music. I mean, it was kind of over. Like it was so obvious at this point. And now, a year later, Peso Pluma continues to be just a mountainous artist, so massive, so popular globally, but also is now being, again, kind of trumpeted up as representing something bigger than himself. Really high profile Coachella performance earlier this year, Peso Pluma, in part of his due to his lyrical subject matter, his persona, his aesthetic, being talked about extensively in regards to the personification of narco culture out of Mexico and what that does and doesn't mean in terms of how we think about art. Very important thing to discuss and think about. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but it's very interesting. And yeah, much like how Bad Bunny pushed reggaeton and opened up dembo globally, and Tyla from South Africa is really bringing Piano to the world. Peso Pluma, now for, over a year and a half at this point, Corridos, Tumbados, Musica, Mexicana, that is what he's doing. And it's just another very strong, one of the strongest examples of the increasing globalization of music and the increasing acceptance of non-English and non-Western music from Western music audiences. And you'd love to see it. And we've talked about this a lot with Spanish music and African music and Korean music, etc. So this is not a new phenomenon, just one of the biggest examples yet. Peso Pluma's fourth album, Éxodo, the first half is largely in line with expectation. It sounds the way you'd expect a Peso Pluma album to sound. Corridos, Tumbados, Musica Mexicana. You know the trumpets are coming. You know the trombones are going to be here. And Peso, with his kind of unique rasp and nasally vocals, doing what he's become so huge already doing. What stands out most about this fourth album from Peso Pluma, which will be successful no matter what, he's just so big and so established at this point. But this second disc is Peso Pluma moving beyond Musica Mexicana and dabbling in some other genres, such as reggaeton, but also such as hip hop, laying down some English music at times, bringing in some high profile guests, such as a Cardi B, such as a Quavo or a Rich the Kid. This new path forward from Peso Pluma clearly is supplemental to his main sound, and it's up and down in terms of effectiveness, but I was really excited to hear it from him because he's clearly not complacent in what kind of music he's making and not satisfied in how big of a star he already is. So I think the takeaway for me is that Peso Pluma is far from a finished product musically, but given how successful it's been thus far, it's a pretty exciting thing to think about what is still to come as he, is only in his mid-20s. As I said, it's a long album, 24 songs, 80 minutes long. It's too long. This definitely needed to be trimmed. This definitely needed to be edited. That first disc, which is kind of the core Peso sound, you could have cut some of these songs. There's a lot of big guests on here, a lot of his big kind of Mexican OGs and whatnot tackled throughout here. So, I mean, it takes you like 10 songs to get to a song without a feature to start the album. Nonetheless, I think it can blend together a little bit at times musically in terms of the instrumental, the genre consistency, and as a non-Spanish speaker, fluently anyway, lyrically it's hard for me to connect. So again, it blends it a little bit. But when that second disc kicks in and Peso starts to switch up what he's up to, it definitely gets your attention because it's kind of a breath of fresh air and switching up the flow to that point to your ear. Put him in the fridge from Cardi B and Peso Pluma. This one really stood out to me. Cardi just fits this song like a glove. She can do a Spanglish verse, Spanish rapping and English rapping on this. Sounds so fucking fire. I love it. Peso tries to rap in English. It's not his strongest suit, but I really appreciate the sentiment, and I thought Cardi just really carries the song. Like, it's an awesome feature from her, so I think it's a huge highlight. Give Me a Second, also pretty fun from Rich the Kid. Pano Pensar with Quavo. I think this one's ultimately a little bit less effective, but still kind of cool. Peso Completo is interesting because you have Archangel, and Peso's really just kind of doing what Archangel's been doing for so long. It doesn't quite work as a collab to me, because I think Peso, when he can't maybe do a new genre all the way, it's kind of comes across as a bit mimicry, a bit facsimile, I guess you could say. No harm, no foul with this, but it's just something he can work on. Big feature from Anita on here as well, although I didn't think the song was super cool. And then Tekka, the last song, you have DJ Snake. In theory, putting those two together, two massive artists, right, could be fireworks. I would not be surprised if that song is a hit, but I didn't think it was anything special personally. But yeah, again, more than anything, I think the fact that Peso Pluma continues to really dominate is pretty interesting. Now, perhaps in contrast to that, reportedly his upcoming arena tour this year, the ticket sales are a bit soft. So there's been some talk about, has Peso Pluma overextended, at least overextended in the United States. We'll see. I really don't have any long-term concerns about that. I mean, the guy, again, I think he's arguably one of the 10 biggest artists in the world right now. He's crazy huge, and for good reason. But yeah, let me know, what was your favorite moment on Peso Pluma's fourth album, Éxodo? Are you intrigued about his desire to branch out beyond Musica Mexicana? Let me know. And for more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.